Hey guys, today we are going to talk about choosing a bank. So our objective is to compare banks and their services, and this is page 75. Okay, transaction. Transaction means an exchange or transfer of funds. So if I pay for something or if somebody returns money to me, money going or coming, that's a transaction. Debit card, it's a plastic card. It looks like a credit card. However, it's used to purchase goods or services from your own money, from your checking account, okay? A credit card is also a plastic card, but when you're using it, you're purchasing goods and services as a loan. You're borrowing money from the bank and then having to pay it back at the end of the month. Your checking account is your account at the bank where you put your money that when you use your debit card or write a check, that's where the money's coming out of. A savings account would be an account where you're putting money and just saving it there and it's earning interest. And then interest, there's two different meanings for that. One meaning is a percentage of your account balance the bank pays you for keeping your money there. So every year they might give you a very small percentage of money back as a thank you for keeping your money there, because they'll actually use your money, borrow your money, and use it to loan to people and stuff. So they're paying you a little bit for getting to use your money. And then the other meaning of interest is a percentage that you owe the bank for borrowing money. So if I have my credit card and I borrow money and then I don't return it at the end of the month, then they're going to charge me interest, which means I'm going to have to pay a little more than what I actually spent as a fee for not returning the money on time. Okay, so now we're going to look at two different banks, Bank A and Bank B, and we're going to compare some of these items. So the first one is checks. So a check is like a little piece of paper that I can fill out and write and use it to pay for goods, and that money comes out of my checking account. So at Bank A, they charge me 50 cents for every check I write, and at Bank B, it's free. So out of these, just this situation, which one's the better deal? Well, this is free, so Bank B would be better. Okay, ATM transaction at a non-bank ATM. So let's say I bank at Wells Fargo and I go to a Chase ATM and I want to pull out some cash. Well, they're going to charge me a fee for using another bank's ATM. So I go to the ATM, I get out cash. Every time I do that at a different ATM, Bank A charges me $1 and Bank B charges me $2 every time I take out money. So in this case, A would be a better deal. All right, at my own bank ATM, it's free for both, so that's both, either one. And then a debit card, so remember a debit card, I swipe it and it takes money out of my checking account. So here it's $2.50 per month. Here it's 50 cents per transaction. So which one's better there? Well, it really depends on how often you use your debit card. Because if you never use your debit card, then this might be a better deal for you. But if you are constantly using it, then you would want to pay the $2.50 per month. So I'm going to write depends here. Me personally, I hardly ever use my debit card. So for me, then this might be the better deal. But my husband uses his a lot, so he would go with that. Okay. Julie wrote 4 checks and used her debit card for 2 non-bank ATM transactions. Which bank is better for her and why? Okay, so first let's look at what she's using so we can really see which bank would be best for her. So she's writing 4 checks. So here checks would be free. Here checks are 50 cents each. So let's calculate what she would be charged for Bank A and then what for Bank B, and that way we can decide. So 4 checks, 50 cents each, so that'd be $2. And then she also uses her debit card for 2 non-bank ATM transactions. So she's using her debit card, so that's a $2.50. And it's a non-bank ATM, so that's $2. All right, and then that's free. So if we add that together, 2, 4, 6, that'd be $6.50. That's with Bank A. So now, let's see with Bank B. 4 checks, well that's nothing, yay, so 0. Plus, let's see, it's 50 cents per transaction and she's only says 2 transactions, so that would be $1. And it's 2 non-bank ATMs, which is 2 and another 2, so that's $4. And and that is equal to $5. So which bank is better for her? Bank B would be better for her in this case. Okay, now let's look at some advantages and disadvantages of debit cards and credit cards. And just a reminder, because they do look very similar, a debit card, you're swiping and you're using money from your bank account, from your checking account. A credit card, you're swiping and you're borrowing money from the bank with the understanding that you're going to return the money at the end of the month. Okay, so debit card. Do not have to carry cash or a checkbook. Well, that's an advantage. So if I only have $20 with me and I see something that costs more, I can just buy that with my debit card. I don't have to have the cash on me or a check. Okay, may include a fee for each purchase. Well, that's a disadvantage. All right, need a PIN number to access the account. Well, that seems like it might be a disadvantage, but I would say that's an advantage because then somebody can't just steal your debit card and then swipe it and steal your money. So I'm going to say that's an advantage. Security. Need money in account to cover purchases. That's a disadvantage because if you don't have the money, you can't. It's not like you're borrowing. This is money from your own account. If you don't have it, you can't buy anything. And then easy access to cash at ATM. That's an advantage. Okay, let's look on the other side. Balances can increase and be difficult to pay off each month. Well, that obviously is a disadvantage. May include a yearly fee. Fees aren't fun, disadvantage. Statement provides a record of expenses. Now that's an advantage because then you can go in and see, hey, I spent this and this and this day and this and this and this day. And if somebody steals your credit card and you see charges that aren't yours, then that helps you to identify that. So that's an advantage. Can make purchases without having money to cover it. That's an advantage. So let's say you don't get paid till the end of the month. You could still buy something and then pay it off when you get your paycheck. Must pay interest on any unpaid monthly balance. Well, interest, if you pay interest, that means you're owing extra money, so that's a disadvantage. All right. Sam has $30 in her account and wants to buy a jacket for $25. Should she use her debit or credit card and why? Well, think about it for a minute or pause the video if you need to. Okay, so the answer to this question is that it really depends. Now, me personally, I would probably use my credit card because I would like having my $30 in case I had an emergency or had something that I had to pay cash for, then I would still have that cash. Especially knowing that I get paid at the end of the month and I could pay it off when I get my paycheck. It just depends. If you've ever gone into serious credit card debt, you might not want to even deal with credit cards. So really this depends on your personal preference. So if she uses her debit card, she buys the jacket, $25, she only has $5 left in her bank for whatever. Now, it also depends on your bank because some banks require you to have a minimum balance. So if she has to keep a certain amount of money in her bank, that might make her account drop too low. So it all depends on the circumstances, and it really is going to come into knowing what's best for you and your expenses. So I'm going to just put preference on here. There is not necessarily one right answer. Okay guys, well hopefully that lets you know a little bit more about debit versus credit cards and also what to consider when deciding on a bank. Thanks for watching and see you next time.